Welcome back. Today I'll be talking about how to get your directional bias correctly. Weekly directional bias or daily, whichever one that you're looking at. First and first, before I get into it, if you find any of my videos insightful, give me a like and subscribe. So let's get into it. First thing first, I'll be looking at a read of the previous week's low or high, or a trading to a fair value gap, or other block, trading to a fair value gap, breaker blocks, whichever one. But today I'll be talking about the ones that we have here on the chart: fair value gap and a read below a previous week's low. Let's get into it. Now we traded into a fair value gap here on the week here. Now this week that this traded into didn't trade back up right immediately. Now I will drop into the 4 hours time frame. Was there anything that would show that we're bullish here? No. But this particular week now here, the bullish one, we traded below the previous week's low. Now, what will be the target here? Well, we wouldn't just start targeting here, immediately we trade into this zone, traded below this low. But look at what happened. We traded below it, and this is the 1 hour time frame, traded below it here, right here. This is the low of the previous week, and we'll run it displaced higher. Fair value gap. This will now become an inverse fair value gap. We'll have a fair value gap here, right traded into this zone. Here would be a buy to target either that weekly range high or this daily range high would be a target, whichever one that you would want to take. Now, for this week that we are in now, what would I like to see? Would I like to see a read above this high or trading back down to this low? No. So if I'm bullish, which I am on this asset, what I would like to see is us trading to this low, to this fair value gap. So that will basically be trading below this Friday's low, tapping into this zone, then we'll continue going up. Now, you can want to wait for Monday. Monday is basically manipulation. Most of the times it goes the opposite direction first before it starts going to the weekly direction. Like, you can go back and check that out. Mondays, most of the times, or some of the times, trade the other direction first. Then before you know it, you are back. For instance, this is Monday. We traded down first, we went up, then we crashed. Then on Monday this week, okay, we had this. Then Tuesday, Wednesday was the day we traded low. So for Mondays, mostly the days that we'll see something like this to manipulate and retrace back up. So back to it, fair value gap. So I can drop lower to see if there is any zone that I would want to buy from. And I have one right here. I have one right here, fair value gap. We have a swing high here. It's placed above it. So if I want to enter an aggression, I would use my fib and mark out this level. Then I'll go in on discount low. I can target this high, which would be 1:3, or the week's range, which would be 1:4, whichever one. Now, what would I want to see? I wouldn't want price to open and run this high first. What I want to see is for us to open and take this low. Then on the 1 hour time frame, if we're coming to that zone, liquidity. So if we sweep this, I would wait to see a change in state of delivery here. Then, or other confirmations, then I would buy to this high, or to this week high, or to this zone. But I definitely want to see it running this high. So that's about it. On the daily levels, if you look at what I said, taking out, if I'm bullish, I would want to see a low. Taking out, if I'm bearish, I would want to see a high. Taking out first. If you look at your charts, you will see it's printing out almost all the times. Let's say you're bullish around here. You can see we took out this low and around this high. If you're still bullish, we have fair value gap, swing high was taken out, so we have shifted. So it came down, took out this low. This day, took out this one, and went back up, just like that. This one took out this high, closed like this. The next candle traded below it, and we continued buying. Same here, took out this low, continued, took out this low, and we traded above it. So if I'm bullish, I would want to see a previous daily low taken out. So I'm expecting this to trade below this, trade into this fair value gap and give me a buy information. And I don't just buy if a previous low or previous high is taken out, or sell, whichever one that I'm looking at. I have formations that I would want to see on the hourly chart. Mainly, I normally use the hourly chart. Sometimes I use it for 15 minutes or 30 minutes to also pick my entries. You never can tell which one it will show you a buy or sell formation from. I normally use the 1 hour to look out. And if I'm seeing that the 1 hour is not giving me what I'm looking for, and I can drop to 30 minutes or 15 minutes, if I notice the change is happening there, I can use it. But when I'm looking at from the weekly, I don't use the 15 minutes to take my entries. I normally wait for 1 hour or 4 hours. Weekly, I mainly use 4 hours. Sometimes I can use 1 hour, depending on how the market is going. I can use the 1 hour to also take my entries. Mainly daily, I'm more importantly looking at 1 hour time frame. Weekly, I'm looking at 4 hours. Monthly, I'm looking at daily. That doesn't mean that on the monthly, if I'm seeing a setup, I can't use the 4 hours time frame. I can also switch it. So that will be about it. Until next time, be safe.